and
going through
my
admissions.
daughter is a
Okay, and so I just didn't want to.
office, and she's with no, parent
And I
kind
don't know who at
Oh
360 or
yeah.
3000
I'm gonna be a special ed teacher for
of yeah,
like a week and a
with the
half,
kids that
and then I'm
tell
gonna
you where
be
they have to go.
a seventh grade teacher that teaches English for a week, and then I'm gonna be in the high school. I have a lot.
Man, you know, when I was in school, I wanted to get the hell out.
And then I have a ton with SCA that year. I gotta get that back up and started.
All right, it is now 7 o'clock. I call to order our city council meeting for Monday, August 19th. All right. Can you hear me now? My apologies.
Recording in progress.
All right, with that, I call to order our Monday, August 19th, 2024 city council meeting. For all those that are able to, please join me and stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, with that, Amanda, can you take roll call for us, please?
Councilmember Rounds,
Here.
Councilmember Burke,
Here.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Here.
Councilmember Hall,
Here.
Councilmember Freimark,
Here.
Councilmember Houston,
Here.
Councilmember Friend.
Here.
Apologies, I was just making sure we had online. Thank you, Chief. That people could hear, and a little bit of hiccups previously, so I just want to make sure we're all good to go. With that, let's go to citizen communications for items not on the agenda. Monica.
Good evening. My name is Monica Ream. I live on Hillshire Drive in Woodland, Washington. I'm here in regards to the August 5th meeting where it was brought up that Gabe Houston is living outside city limits and should be terminated or removed or resign from city council. He has submitted a new rental agreement. You claim that these are, I don't know, false allegations by speaking with neighbors on his rentals, that they never see him there spend the night. There's many rumors that we could address. One being, if you want to talk about rumors that have been circulating, that you, Mayor Deinhardt, were separated from your wife and living in Ridgefield during the election, and I'm sure that's really far outside Woodland city limits. So if we're gonna judge things on rumors and hearsay, then I think all this should be addressed as far as that part goes. Deinhardt, you claim that these were false, and he provided proof of leases. And then a direct quote, all of our roles as city council and mayor is to ensure laws, ordinances, and resolutions, etc., are followed by the city of Woodland and spend their money appropriately. Are pursuing legal actions against him because he refused to resign a good way to spend the city's money? And is this the most pressing issue that the city of Woodland is facing right now? I really don't think so. He was unable to work because he's been going through chemotherapy, stage 3 cancer. It's a very grueling process, and I don't know if any of you've ever been through it, but it's not pretty, and I'm sure that he could attest to that. He received a 30-day notice to vacate his rental house here because his landlord was selling the property. He's maintained residency by renting 2 rooms here, which shows he's willing to do that so that he will be in compliance. So, where is our compassion in this? Let's just get him out, I guess. I don't know. All I'm asking for, Mr. Houston said, is to give me some time to get back on my feet. Again, where's the compassion that we don't want to allow to do this? Councilmember Friedman suggested offer leniency and decide a deadline for him to reestablish residency. I'm willing to give him a little extra consideration, and I think that we all should. We all go through points in our life where we're ups and downs, and sometimes it feels like when you're at your down point, it just rains and pours. So I don't understand what the big push is for this. And you say, Dinehart, that I emphasize with Houston's condition, and the council should not make any exceptions. Really? And Mr. Fremont, you had said, when I was in here a couple weeks ago and I talked about letting the people vote on the marijuana store in town, you said that the town would go to hell and that that would not be a place that you and your family would like to live and you would move. If our town has no compassion for people, that's a town I don't want to live in. I just don't understand this. And so you say that he refused to resign and to save his integrity. Where's everyone else's integrity in this matter, that they're willing to just tell him he needs to leave, but you're going to pursue it with the city attorneys to make sure he's gone? This makes absolutely no sense at all. So my question is, are we a city that has compassion for other people and other people's problems? Or are we a city that just has these 7 members that tell all of us what we can do? We're not going to let you vote on the pot store because we decided we don't want it. That is not democracy. And giving this gentleman the boot because he's fallen on hard times, not to any fault of his own, I just don't understand. Where is your compassion, all of you?
So, do you want me to respond?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, my wife and I have not separated, have never been separated. We still live off of Lewis River Road. So, but again, whatever rumors are, have at her.
Well, same with him.
Okay, but hold on a second. So I was going to respond to these.
Okay.
And so when you talk about, compassion and things, one of the things that when I took this role and I voted or ran for mayor, it was very much what's good for you is good for you is good for you. I think it's been very clear. You brought up marijuana. I mean, my wife was one of the first people that said something about the marijuana shop because, again, the zoning. I'm very much a rule follower. If somebody wants to complain because Todd is a rule follower, I will say, I'm sorry, but that is who Todd is, and that is how I've always been. So when you look at what the definition of residency is and this is from our lawyers, and again, this is not against Gabe Houston. This is me. I have citizens that have come to me and complain, and if the rules are this, I will do my job, and when it comes down to it, if city council wants to give me direction or something, away we go. I work at the direction of city council. But again, I am very much a rule follower. And it says residency is defined as a person's permanent address where they physically reside and maintain their abode. The issue of a person's residence is a factual one. A person can only have one permanent residence at any one time. When determining whether a person has changed their permanent residence, the primary question is whether the person intended to abandon an old residence and establish a new one. Numerous things are looked at, such as where a person gets their mail, the address on their driver's license, the address used for their taxes, the address used for utility bills or insurance forms, whether they still own their previous house, and other such similar inquiries, all of which boil down to the fact that in addition to a physical move, the person must also have an intent to discontinue or abandon their prior residence.
He didn't have a choice. He was given a 30-day notice. His landlord was selling the house. What choice did he
I
have?
agree. That totally sucks. But when I look at the law and what is here in front of me, and I have a lawyer that gives me that there, and residents, I have to go by the law. And if that is what the lawyer is telling, I will look to my fellow city council members here and say, what do you want in the direction of Todd Deinhardt as mayor to do?
Compassion, that's what we want, and understanding.
There's only three and a half months left before the 4 months is up. You know,
Do you want to come? I don't have anyone else on the agenda for, yeah, absolutely, but hold on one second, we're gonna go in order. So, this gentleman, did you want to speak, sir?
no, I was just throwing that out.
Okay, so hold on a second, hold on a second. If you want to speak, you need to come up to the podium then, okay, sir?
Oh, my name is Derek Wynn. You know, I was asked for the benefit of the doubt. There's better speakers than tell you what's good about you have to say about them. But it's 2 weeks gone, 3.5 months. Give them the benefit of the doubt. But that's your choice. You got, you know.
So, sir?
My name is Randy Olson. I live on Pekin Road, and I've talked with Todd a couple of items I'd like to bring up, and I want to bring this. I want you to listen to this. Well, it was the guns going on. I live in Pekin Road across the street from the Diego Apartments, and that was what was being fired in front of my house on Saturday night. And it shut up my mailbox, shut up my neighbor's fences, very close to coming hitting some of the houses. And it hasn't been, unfortunately, the first time that this has happened. Something needs to be looked at and to be done with it. Maybe something simple like we have lights there that have been turned off for years. Maybe they need to be turned on again. Just because that where the shooting was, there was a light there that people wouldn't necessarily want to be shooting under lights where the people could see it. But anyway, it's becoming kind of hazardous in that area. And I understand that the police, I've talked to the police and knowing the cartel or whatever they call these kids, you may never find who actually did that. But that sounded like a semi-automatic weapon to me. And then that was one part. I'd like you to.
So hold on a second. Do you want Chief to speak first, or do you want to wait till the very end? I just want
To the very end, because this is a two-parter.
Okay, go ahead.
And then I've also brought up to you about speed bumps and the speed of people going through there, and I'd still like that to be reconsidered with the council and them. For years, we've been trying to get that thing slowed down. I see people every day going through their 45, 50 miles through a 25-mile-an-hour zone. My mailbox has been a hero. He's been hit 3 times by people speeding through there and losing control 3 times, and I'm on a straight section of the road. And now this poor thing got beat up with machine guns or whatever that was. So it's speed bumps need to go, and then what that would do is you would take the traffic and divert it around on the other side of the lake where there's no homes. That would really decrease the threat of getting run over by a kid. A dog got killed last summer there by someone speeding through there and killed the dog. When is it going to be a kid? So those are 2 items I would really like the council to consider looking into and see what can be done to try and avoid this. I really don't want to see machine guns in front of my house, if that indeed was what it was, shooting in the damn middle of the city. It's just something that obviously concerns me.
So Chief called me in the middle of the night when this went on, but I will let him address this because I don't want to get in the middle of what can be said and not versus the investigation, but here.
So the department is really working hard to identify individuals. We have a couple of leads, so we're going to keep pressing on that. As far as the speed is concerned, we put the speed trailer out there a couple of times, and the average is somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 to 40 miles an hour. I mean, and they might be higher. People have a tendency to drive a little faster when it's nicer out. So we will. The speed limit is 25.
You tell me it's okay that they're going.
No, I'm not.
I have never seen
No,
a guy with a radar gun in that
Yeah, I'm not saying that, but I will ask officers to frequent that area and patrol that, for speed. So, and I know it's, you know, it's not, it's probably not the right answer you want to hear, but we will certainly make an effort to be down on Fifth there. So, and like I said, we've got some ideas on who we're going to be looking at and talking to. There's a bunch of individuals that are associated, so we've got a few leads.
I'm also interested in the preventative measures you're going to take to stop it in the future. I don't wanna see another gunfight or whatever that was Saturday night in front of my house. What can be done to prevent it from happening in the future?
I think catch the bad guys. I mean, that's what, you know, it's probably a certain group of individuals that are involved in this. I can't really say too much about it for now, but we've got an idea who we're looking at.
Okay, and then speed bumps, you and I've talked about it. I will go back, find out. I mean, I know we have an overlay project and different things. Let me, you know, follow up again on that one. We've had previous conversations on that. So, okay. Sir, yeah, absolutely. Come on up to the podium.
My name is Mike Ullman, at 150 South Pekin Road. And I would like to address some of the public safety on that road and what's happened. So there's been many times where we are going 25, coming home, trying to turn left. Unbeknownst to us, we've got somebody passing us on the left-hand side of us doing 50 to 60, 70 miles an hour. This happened tonight again. And somebody on the right-hand side going into the subdivision there. So I've
Into black, or into,
the estates there.
yeah, okay.
I drive out to Hillsboro every day, pretty much to Intel, and I see in a lot of the areas where I have to drive the speed bumps and how they are effective, especially in the St. John's neighborhood in Portland. They just did that, I believe it was last summer, and it really cut down on the people speeding through there and the speed limits. So that is a big thing. The semis, ambulances that are going through, school buses who have already dropped off the kids. I see them going 50 miles an hour through there. People, it has just gotten way out of hand. And as far as the shooting goes that has happened, I know the police, they've been stretched to the outer limits, and we talked to another officer because we found some more bullet holes in fences yesterday, that they've been stretched so far that they are on patrols just for traffic right now because of the situation that's happening. And what they have told us is most of these vehicles that they write parking tickets for or traffic tickets of those people that are in that development there across the farm workers or whatever you want to call them, their cars are not registered to them. They never registered it to themselves. They've been in the original owner. So maybe what the city council or the state or whoever should go to this agency that is allowing these people to live there. One, there is no way in the world that those places are serving the amount of people. There's 2 to 3 times as many people living there than probably what should be. And then the other thing is maybe they should look at security guards, not relying on Woodland PD to look over that subdivision, but a security guard system. And I'm pretty sure if you go to the fire marshal and have them do a walkthrough of how many people are living there, some of these people that are problem people are going to be eliminated by 1, slowing down of the traffic, 2, not being able to live there because they can't live there because there's not enough places for them to stay now that the limits have been run down, and 3, a security guard agency and it's up to the
Are you talking
owner.
about Lilac Apartments, Lilac Garden Apartments, when you say security
No.
guard?
The
Sam.
San, yeah.
Got it, okay.
Whatever.
So they
I
need,
was in the wrong
they need to
department, okay.
provide the enforcement, the security enforcement, or whoever owns that place, not the city. Nobody here should have to pay for it, but they should be looking into it. And if they had 2 people all night long, whatever, during the days, and I'm guaranteeing if you cut down the number of cars that are parked alongside of the road, I've gone out there in the middle of winter and somebody has flipped over their car in excessive speed. They've taken out Randy's mailboxes twice. We can't even have a mailbox because it's been taken out so many times. So
Okay.
I would really hope that you really look seriously at speed bumps, and I'm sure there's other locations in the town that could use them. So,
Okay.
and I know we're set to do this repave, and it would be a perfect time.
Okay, so I definitely will work with Public Works Planning and Chief there. We have a staff meeting every Friday, executive meeting, that we'll obviously have a discussion on this piece here and
Okay.
see what we can and can't do and on that there.
All right. Well, thank you.
So, and I will make sure Chief follows up with you all on what's happening with the shootings and those things. Okay? Amanda, do you have their information? Okay, we can get it, so, okay. I don't have anyone else on the items for not on the agenda. Anyone in the room want to speak for items not on the agenda? Anyone online want to speak to something about items not on the agenda? All right, hearing none, we will go.
Hello?
Oh.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, hi. Hey, I'm Kimberly Goheen Elbin, life citizen of Clark County, Washington here.
Yep. Hey,
I
Kim,
was asked by one of your
you get,
Hi.
you get
I was
5
asked
minutes.
by one of your Thank you. I was asked by one of your citizens to speak. And so I looked in your agenda and past minutes and things, and actually I'll be speaking on my own in relation to her. She's concerned about the airport possibly going away, and then the property along I-5 stretch from the Oak Tree on up to Sagawas. She's concerned about apartments going in there. So I've been speaking at the Vancouver City Council meeting, of which this is where I'm at now. I was born in Vancouver, and I took an oath on my 18th birthday at the Vancouver Barracks to protect America from foreign and domestic enemies, and we have a domestic enemy here. And it's called Agenda 21-2030, if people would please read about that, and it'll answer all the questions as to what is going on with our government and why they want a one world order, and you have to take America out to do so. And with criminal Biden and Harris coming along, that's what their agenda is to do. They are not out to protect America. They want to open us up, flood us with illegal immigrants, and have a democracy from here forth. We are a republic. We use democracy, but we are a republic using democracy. We're not a democracy. I like to tell people that united we stand. It's in our flag salute. With that said, Vancouver is a United Nations member, along with 400 cities, including Portland, Seattle, Olympia, 400 cities across America that are undermining us through our hard-earned tax dollars and Biden's America Rescrew plan, using hard-earned tax dollars for their agenda to carry out this accepting all of the illegal immigrants, allowing them to vote, and within 5 years they will be voting if we do not stand now in assembly as our forefathers warned us to do when government becomes dangerous. We must stand now. We have only about 80 days until the election, and we cannot wait. We are to show the whites of our eyes at all council meetings, and especially your county council meetings. I attend the Clark County. Tomorrow night is a 6 p.m. Clark County Council meeting that we can speak 3 minutes on anything we want. Whereas here in Vancouver, because they're a Marxist following the United Nations and not the Constitution, they literally have, for the last 2 years, taken away First Amendment rights of the citizens here in Vancouver. They don't know it because we're still suffering from the pandemic. It is a pandemic. The Agenda 2030 is very clear. They want two things: one world order and to depopulate. We believe that the COVID jab is a bioweapon. We have things on the Clark County Board of Health in past documentation from public that they can read and discern for themselves. This is something that you can look into for yourself. You're still free as an American. So our government is trying to take us over, and I'm standing on duty for this. So I have a couple things real quick. It might be on the agenda, but I need to say, because I won't be able to talk anymore, the food carts. In the big sanctuary cities, those food carts are going to be able to allow illegal immigrants to work. So I'm concerned about illegal immigrants. Now, frankly, I care about people, but we need to know who's here in America. Speaking of shootings, we don't know what's going to happen, but believe me, it's going to rock and roll real soon. There is evil amongst us. God is always good. Amen. As far as Mr. Houston, I think he should have another chance. My question would be, is he a patriot? Is the government there trying to maybe oust him in some way or another? I do not know, but I thought I might say that because, frankly, I don't trust most governments, including my own, where I'm in La Center, Washington here. Another few things here. I am concerned about the minutes of August 5th, where Jana Lovejoy has many comments and concerns. I hope they're being addressed. I don't know her situation either. I reached out to her and have not received an email yet. Also,
I sorry to cut you off, but it's 5 minutes now. So.
Oh, thank you, sir.
All right. Hey, have a great evening.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Okay, with that, any others for items not on the agenda from online? Okay, with that, we'll move to agenda approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I'd like to make an amendment to that motion to approve mayor to contact the district attorney about Mr. Houston.
So I have a motion for approving the agenda as is. I have to address that one first, correct? Or do I have a second for Carol's motion?
I'll second. It's just an amendment.
Correct.
Okay.
So with that, I have two here. Amanda, help me out. I have to.
Yeah, so you have to resolve the amendment first, I believe, before the original motion.
What was that?
You have to resolve the amendment first before the original motion.
Okay, so with that, any comment on the amended motion?
I will just say, I think we all have compassion here, but we have to do the right thing, because if an item is voted on and there's a tie, we could be sued. The city could be. So I think we need to find out, and if he's okay, I'm great with it. But I think we need to let the mayor do his job.
Any other comments on that motion?
I too would like to hear what our attorney says on it. This is a potential liability on one side or the other, and we need the best legal advice we can get.
Okay, so I have a motion to add it to the agenda. So with that, we will take a vote.
So, okay,
Go ahead, my bad.
so have you not included our, is this on? Cause I don't feel like Okay, so have you already written us what the attorney has said on this topic?
So the attorney wrote a memo, correct, and you all have a copy of that memo.
Yes. So her motion is saying to find out further what the attorney is going to say, or is this to take action on Gabe? I'm confused on what this motion is actually saying.
It is a motion for the mayor to contact the district attorney to find out what her position is,
Okay, this is to go to the district attorney, not to the
not to the attorney.
Okay.
So according to the memo, it would be, council can, hey, we agree we're residency, or we can take a motion and go to the public defender, or the district attorney's office, who can look at it. Emily, do you want to speak?
Sure, I'll just clarify. My understanding of where we're at this would be a motion to add to the agenda the topic for council to decide whether or not to direct the mayor to send this to the county prosecutor, who is the one that makes the determination whether or not to file the action that determines residency. Not sure if that clarified it for you.
Okay.
So Emily, can we legally be held liable if somebody came back and wanted to question his residency?
Temporary residency.
His temporary residency, if we were to be tied in a vote?
Is this a discussion we need to have if we put it on the agenda, or could we have a discussion now?
Add an item to the agenda. This would be outside of the scope of that. If you add this to the agenda, then that's something that we can discuss. I will say that I am generally not going to talk about specific liability on the record. I can go into some of the issues that I mentioned in my memo, which has been made public. But if you want to talk about specific liability and those kinds of things, I would recommend that we adjourn into executive session for that discussion.
Okay.
So would it be a second motion to go to executive session, or how does
It would
that?
be a first. We haven't had a,
Oh, I'm sorry.
nobody's motion,
Would
so.
we need a motion, another motion, not a second on a motion, but.
Correct.
yeah.
You would need another motion
Okay.
to go to executive session.
If this motion is passed, then when we get to that agenda item, if you want to go into executive session, we do it at that point. Right now, we're just deciding whether or not this goes onto the agenda as an item or not.
Correct. And we have a motion and a second on it, so we need to vote on that if there's no other further discussion. With that, Amanda, do you want to take a vote, please? And this is whether or not to add it to the agenda.
Yeah, this is the amendment to the original motion. After this vote, then we will take a vote on the first motion.
Correct.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke. Aye. Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark.
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
So with that, there is 6-1. It has been added to the agenda. Now I need to go back to the original motion of just the agenda
As amended.
as amended. Go ahead, Amanda.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark.
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
So with that, that will be action item O that will be added to the agenda. Moving into reports of standing committees. Public safety?
Okay. I have two reports. For public safety, tonight we met at 5:30. And in attendance, we had Chief Kelly, Councilmember Hall, and myself. And tonight we discussed the department updates that, recently they did have, some oral boards and had some good prospects. They're still in their very early stages, they have several that are, very entry-level candidates and one that is an advanced level, applicant. Both boards produced qualified candidates, and the department is optimistic that the list will produce candidates that would fit well with the Woodland Police Department. They will be moving forward with background investigations on at least 2 candidates, very shortly. The department's 3rd annual night out was a success, and they are already looking forward to next year. They want to thank all of their Chamber of Commerce partners for their participation in their annual event, and would not be success without their partnership. Big thanks to Mr. Keith Belisle, who produced the music and sound for the event, and to the Woodland Walmart for their continued support, and the department and this event with a donation of 10 bikes. Let's see, members of the department also provided a demonstration of a couple of the new tools at the disposal of the agency, and the officers demonstrated how the RAP, one of their newest devices, is used, and there was also a demonstration of one of their new UAVs. They also have the 3 new shields on their way. And so we adjourn at 5:49.
Any questions or comments for public safety? Human resources.
We met at 6:18, and in attendance we had the mayor, Councilmember Friend, Councilmember Hall, and myself. On the agenda tonight, you will find that we are going to be looking at separating the city clerk from the city treasurer, and no longer a clerk-treasurer joint position. We need someone that can handle to sign legal documents, and one that handles all of the treasurer stuff. We also have the Teamsters with the negotiating with Public Works and with the clerks. They both expire on the end of December, and so we're going to start negotiations in September with them. And we ended our meeting at 6:26.
Any questions for human resources? Finance?
Finance Committee met just before Town Council tonight with the mayor. On the committee is myself, Councilmember Rounds, and Councilmember Burke. 2 things of importance came up on it. The city so far this year has saved about $200,000 in administrative salary costs, which help offset last year's unexpected expenses in that category. The second thing is the 2025 budget is being formulated by the mayor and his finance members. It's getting started. It should be finalized somewhere close to the end of the year, November probably, and there will be a public hearing or 2 to give the results on that before it's taken effect next year.
Thank you. Any questions on finance? Okay, moving into reports of City Council. Reports of advisory committees. Oh, were you gonna say, yeah, were you adjusting, Chief?
I was just going to give a report. I heard a presentation for the new library that's going to be opening. Found out some really great information that there's going to be a meeting room that you can hold a public meeting in, seats 65 people. It's free to use if you have a meeting that you want the public to be invited to. Lots of awesome spaces for teens and small children, and just really excited to have that open in the community. And I think it was a great presentation put on by the foundation as well as the library leaders, and thought it would be good to share with everyone here.
No, I was just pointing
Okay.
to Mr. Fred, because he had his hand up.
I wanted to make sure.
You were focused on that side, so.
I didn't know if you had something, Chief, so.
No, sir.
Okay, with that, Chamber? Come on up, Keith.
Good evening. Keith Blau, Interim Director Woodland Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. The Visitor Center continues to be open 9 to 4, most weekdays, closed on Tuesdays, and Sunday 10 to 2. I've been having a good time there, greeting the visitors and giving them direction up to the mountain. For July, our visitor count was 508 visitors, so numbers are up. We have visitors from all kinds of places all over the world, as a matter of fact. Science Center is continuing to be open 7 days a week. Johnston Ridge Observatory remains closed as the road is washed out to there. And the Mount St. Helens Visitor Center at Castle Rock closes for renovation September 30th, and it will be closed until May of 2025. For Chamber news, the Chamber participated in National Night Out, and that was a good time. We have gained 5 members in July. Continue our weekly luncheons at the Tuesdays at noon at the Oak Tree. Tomorrow is our golf tournament, so we won't have a luncheon, but we'll be at the golf tournament at Lewis River Golf Club. After hours for this month is canceled. Next meeting will be August 27th rather, at the Oak Tree for a member mixer. And chamber membership is 50% off for the rest of the year. And some of our new members, Walmart had ribbon cutting, and we had an after hours at Lakeside Suites. And Mike Leboki from Taylor Trucking spoke at our last meeting, and he talked a little bit about how he's done with Clark County. He's moving here, moving his whole operation here, and branching out in business. That's all I have on my list. Any questions?
The golf tournament tomorrow,
Yes,
that's at 7 registration, and we tee off at 8.
that's the information I have, yes.
The sign that we put over at the chamber, is that gonna go over into the new building or wherever we go?
Nobody's made any decision on that so far.
Yeah, so we haven't.
So what's gonna happen to that sign when it's?
That sign is owned by the chamber. So, so.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Reports to the mayor. Couple items here. So let's talk about traffic. I met with Carly, regional director for WashDOT, last week to try and have a little bit of conversation around what we can do, what we can't do. So let's talk about 503 traffic today. I actually drove through there a couple of times today, just getting out of my driveway to check on it. It wasn't long. They were done with construction by 3 p.m. They tried to tighten the schedule up quite a bit so that it wouldn't be so long drawn out. They had the pilot car, so that piece on the 503, the little bit of patchwork, I think they've heard us loud and clear, are working on that. Said it would be done by Thursday of this week. I'm not sure where tomorrow's is at. Let's then talk about the I-5 bridge work. So we still have another 30 days left of that. The first thing that I asked her and had the conversation with is when they did exit 22, the little bit of bridge work there and here, how come they didn't align it all, just make it one nice big project? And unfortunately, they got 2 different contractors, 2 different bids, 2 different schedules from those contractors. To do it all together would have ridden the cost up substantially, and they weren't able to do it. So unfortunately, Woodland gets stuck on that one. So then we talked about, the Green Mountain. Again, we know that it's a public road, people can use it, but again, we need to make sure that our community and people are safe up there and we're not doing things crazy. Again, they've got signs out there. They've got Washington State Police that have been out there a little bit. It's outside of our jurisdiction, our police, not going out there and doing traffic. They're working on that, still monitoring, still working on it a little bit, but they're well aware of that issue on that piece there and making sure that something happens on that. So,
I have a question.
Fire away.
Other states and even our state and other areas, they work at night instead of during the day. It would be nice for our area, especially if they did that around here. Because it, pardon?
They're working all night.
yeah.
Here they are?
Yeah, so part of it is, not every single night is being worked, because of the specialty of work. They don't have, and labor shortages, they don't have everybody that can work full shifts 24/7, but they are working as much as they can around the clock. And sometimes that work is done underneath the bridge, but, correct. And so I say 30 days, they're hoping to get it done quicker than that. But Riley, did you have something? You look like you got it. So Riley's been, our public works director has been in touch with them as well. So as this comes along, I will continue to have conversations with Carly. Tonight was way backed up on that. Yesterday, again, there was a RV fire on I-5. So, okay, any questions or comments on that?
I'm concerned about when school starts.
100% on getting traffic through there at the 3 o'clock and the 8:30 time frame with the school buses and going back and forth. Let me have a discussion with her and see what we can do on that. Let me take some notes. Darlene, come on up.
Darlene Johnson, Woodland Truck Line, and today Robin Chilton called me, and this has really impacted their business quite a bit. And I have talked to Senator Braun on it, and he suggested that we do ask for a copy of the contract, and I am doing that, and then Chilton and I are going to look at it, not for this particular project, but for the next ones, just to see what the contract actually said. And actually, Senator Braun was very supportive of doing that because of the amount of commerce and cost it's been to local businesses has probably far outweighed the additional cost the state would have had to pay to do it quicker. And that was a comment from Chilton. Also, I know that many of the restaurants have felt this too.
Yep.
So we're
Absolutely.
going to be getting the contract, and I don't know how long it takes when you put in a request, but when we get it, we'll
Okay.
be looking at it
And
for
I'll reach
next
out to
time.
Carly and see if I can get the contract that way from her as well.
Oh, that would be good.
Yep.
That'll be quicker, I
Yep.
think.
Put it
I
right here
hope.
on my notes. Any other questions or comments on that construction out there? The next item that I just wanted to talk about really quickly is retail marijuana inside the city limits. So it went to the planning commission last Thursday night. The applicant paid his $2,500 application fee. So if you want zoning changed, $2,500, you too can work on getting things through, work with our Travis and the planning department. The planning commission took the recommendation with 2-to-1 vote. So coming forward to council will be a recommendation from the planning commission to approve retail marijuana sales in C2 zoning. Again, that will be a vote for council. The applicant has asked that that come to council in December timeframe if there's no issues from council here. But I just wanted everyone to be aware of how that came about, and that the applicant did pay his $25. Okay? Any questions or comments on that one? Reminder, this Friday is the last Hot Summer Nights Movies in the Park. I want to give a shout out to the Public Works Department, Downtown Woodland Revitalization, and the businesses that have sponsored that. Has been a great success. There's also, raffle tickets and things there, so thank you. September 2nd, Labor Day, city offices will be closed. And then September 3rd will be our next city council meeting. Okay, with that, we'll move into consent items.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, Mr. Goddard.
I did want to point out that the Planning Commission, which is typically the third Thursday of each month, for September and October, due to scheduling conflict, it will be the second Thursday of each month. So it will be September 12th and October 10th, I believe it is. So keep an eye out for that. We will be talking about changes to the sign ordinance. And those are the items that are going to be on the agenda that'll be advertised in the paper in the next couple weeks. And then I also wanted to let people know that the consultant has a survey ready that will be available pretty soon. And I'm putting of stakeholders. So if anyone either on the council or in the public has a organization that you think I should be talking to and that the consultant should be talking to about the update of the comprehensive plan, we'll be starting with those meetings in the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you. Before we go into the consent items, there is a public comment and email, Amanda, from Ms. Lovejoy that I will get you so you can attach it to the meeting minutes for us to enter that into the record. With that, we move into consent items.
Making a motion to approve the consent items.
Second.
Any discussion on those consent items? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Friend,
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Move into the action items. Clerk Treasurer approved vouchers. Any comments from anyone online or in the okay, with that,
Make a motion to approve action item B, clerk treasurer approve clerk treasurer.
Second.
any discussion from council? With that, Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
With that, the ayes have it. Moving into action item C, request city council to approve a first and second reading. This first and second reading would be separating the deputy clerk treasurer, or clerk treasurer into a city clerk and a city treasurer.
Motion to approve, to request city council to approve a first reading and a second reading of ordinance number 1564.
Second.
Any from the audience? Any discussion from city council?
This is something our lawyer advised that we do, and I think it's something that is very important that we get this in line so that we operate a more smooth process and that we have some checks and balances in place and have some cross-training.
Okay.
Agreed.
Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Move it into action item D, ordinance number 1564. Separate the city clerk treasurer into city clerk and a city treasurer, first and final reading. Any discussion from anyone online or in the audience on this discussion item? So, to help get a little bit of more perspective on this here, our ordinance, you can have a clerk treasurer, or I'm sorry, a city clerk treasurer, where they're all one role. So that person would be over finance, would be over public records, would be all over it for segregation of duties and improve just the visibility here, I think it makes sense to have a city clerk who would be over public records, contracts, dealing with accounts receivable, invoicing receipts. On the other side, you would have your clerk treasurer who is over accounting, finance, payroll, HR, and does that piece of it. And the reason the city clerk would have the accounts receivable is so that, you know, one person receives it, another person posts it and takes it to the bank and those things. So I think it just helps us get more transparency, more, you know, segregation of duties by doing this. And so Emily, our attorney, also thought that it was good for the city, and she wrote up this resolution for us. So that's where that came about. So.
Didn't that also come through the audit? Our auditors would like to see this change.
Yep, that was one of their best practices. Yep. So with that.
Motion to approve ordinance number 1564, first and final reading.
Second.
Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston. Councilmember Freimark. Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item E, authorize the mayor to create city clerk position and appoint Amanda Hogan as city clerk. Any conversation from the audience or anyone online? It's important to note this here changes her job title, a little bit of a job description in here, but there's no change in her pay or step. That all stays consistent and aligns with what her current compensation is already.
Motion to approve to authorize the mayor to create city clerk position and appoint Amanda Hogan as city clerk.
Second.
Any conversation from council on that? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston. Councilmember Freimark. Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item F, authorize the mayor to create the city treasurer position. Any questions, comments from anyone online or in the audience tonight? A little bit of conversation here. We do have a deputy clerk treasurer who is still here. This here is a new position. It will align with that deputy clerk treasurer, but a little bit. We're going through some system upgrades, going through an audit, going through some cross-training and things that we have here. This here creates that position, and we will post the position for a city treasurer. And it will be same pay as the current deputy. It'll be in the same step scale as a deputy clerk treasurer and also in the city clerk.
Make a motion to approve action item F, authorize the mayor to create the city treasurer position.
Second.
Any discussion from anyone on council?
No, I think you covered it, so.
Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston. Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item G. It's number 1562, commercial zoning amendments for RV occupancy standards, final reading. Any comments or questions from anyone in the audience or online? So before we go to council, just a little bit of clarity, I've had a few emails on this and questioning the planning commission. The recommendation to the planning commission was 90 days. It went there. Planning commission came back for a recommendation of 90 days. When you talk to the businesses and those things that are down in Belmont Loop, RV parks aren't one of those things that they were really in favor for back when this went in a couple years ago. and they're asked to keep it at the 90 days. And so this ordinance that we put forward here 2 weeks ago stayed at 90 days, and this ordinance here remains to keep RV parks at 90 days.
Make a motion to approve action item G, ordinance number 1562, commercial zoning amendments for RV occupancy standards.
Second.
Any comments or questions, discussion here on council? With that, Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Houston. Councilmember Freimark.
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
With that, the ayes have it. Moving into action item H, ordinance number 1563, mobile food unit regulations, final reading. Any discussion or comments from individuals in the audience or online for this item? Okay.
Make a motion to approve ordinance, or action item H, ordinance number 1563, mobile food unit regulations, final reading.
Second.
Any conversation, comments on that with this final reading?
I'm okay.
Okay. Ms. Hogan? Oh, did you have?
No,
JJ?
I did have one question. On the section 2, there has to be 2 or more,
Correct.
so you can have one.
No, you can have one, but the conversation is, what is multiple? So multiple is 2 or more. And that's what we would consider a pod. Court, sorry. Court.
Court, okay.
Okay.
I guess I can stop there.
Any other discussion? Okay, with that, Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston. Councilmember Freimark.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item I, resolution number 794, surplus 3 police vehicles to the city of Longview. Any discussion or comments from individuals in the audience or online? Anything you want to throw in here, Chief?
No, this is good, it's gonna be beneficial for us because we're bartering for some training, so it works out perfectly.
Yep.
And thank you, council.
But we haven't approved it yet.
I'm anticipating. Might be jumping the gun a little bit, but I have faith in you guys.
And just so the community knows, these are as you get on I-5 and you sit in traffic going over the first bridge, you look to the Public Works building, you can see some of those cars there. So again, they're vehicles that are not being used. They're not in service. So just wanted individuals to know.
I heard they're fast and I wanted to buy one.
Motion to approve resolution number 794, surplus 3 police vehicles to the city of Longview.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston. Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item J, resolution number 795, surplus of police department equipment. Any discussion from the audience or anyone online? Chief, comments on this one?
I think these are the older Panasonic Toughbooks that we're not using any longer, and because of the upgrades in technology, those are not capable of handling all the databases that we need access to. So.
And the Chevy Impala.
Yes. That'd be the oldest fleet in the or oldest vehicle in the fleet. Mine's the second oldest, so we'll get rid of that one first.
Yeah.
Motion to approve resolution number 795, surplus of police department equipment.
Second.
Any discussion on that? With that, Ms. Hogan, did you have discussion?
I was gonna just say, when you go pick them up, you need a truck to carry those. And look, maybe a couple people. They're so old.
Councilmember Friend,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item K, resolution number 793, authorize the surplus of 236 Davidson Avenue, Public Works Building.
I'd like to
Any-
table that.
Hold on a second. Any discussion from the audience or anyone online on 236 Davidson Avenue? The old Spruce Building. So it's right around the corner from Public Work, or from City Hall, and it has a tattoo parlor in there. Anyone online? Anything, Riley, you would like to say?
Yes, so we are looking for authorizations of surplus 236 Davidson. I have reached out to a commercial real estate agent to kind of get a assessed value of the location. We originally purchased for $420,000. Target range for sale is between $450,000 and $499,000. So with this authorization, it will give us the approval to move forward with an actual price assessment and get an actual value that we can provide to the council to move forward.
So there's 4 individuals that sit in that building now. They will move over to City Hall. When we sell the building, the lease for that tattoo parlor would go with the new owner, assuming that we found somebody. And we do have an outstanding bond on this building that we're making payments on.
So we paid
20.
425?
420
420. Well,
in 2020.
That's just a few bucks.
2021, excuse me.
Motion to approve resolution number 793, authorize the surplus of 236 Davidson Avenue.
Second.
Any discussion from council on this?
I do have a question.
Uh-huh.
So maybe to Riley. So if we approve this, and then we get the formal assessment of the value, and the value is not in line with us making a profit or taking a loss on it, would we have an opportunity to then revisit that?
So council, he will go out, do an assessment, find a market value when he finds a owner. If they come back and offer us $350, it has to come back to council for approval.
Okay.
So
Okay.
council still
Okay.
council gets another stab at this.
Okay.
This here just authorizes to say it's surplus, we need to sell it, let's go find a buyer.
Because I really don't want to take a loss on the building. So,
Yeah,
Especially
I
if
don't
we
wanna
owe more
take a
than
loss.
what we,
right.
Because we just bought that, what, 3 years ago?
2021.
3 years ago?
Yep. So, does that answer your question, sir?
It does. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments about this? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving into action item L, resolution number 790, authorize the mayor to sign interlocal agreement with the Port of Woodland.
Did you miss?
Motion
Okay.
to approve resolution number 790, authorize the mayor to sign interlocal agreement with the Port of Woodland.
Second.
So hold on a second. Do we have any discussion from the audience regarding resolution 790? This is Ms. Johnson.
Ah, good.
I probably remember what I said last time, which this is something that the city itself can do an evaluation. And when you contact with the port to do it, it makes it easier for the port to want to buy it. And I am very much opposed with one government entity selling to another government entity, because if you end up selling it to, and I understand you're telling us that this doesn't require that, but it doesn't, you don't need this interlocking agreement. You can have someone come in and do it, and you can put it on and see what a commercial person would want to do. I actually had breakfast with someone that has some interest in doing that. And one of the things that I think came up from that is you might want to, keep some of the historical flavor of it. That can always be put in the sales agreement. And then the city has that ability to do that. But when one government entity purchases or sells to another government entity, the government entity that buys would usually have to raise tax. I asked one of the port commissioners, and they don't have a lot of money just sitting around to do this. So that would raise the taxes on the people. And I know that the city of Woodland isn't going to lower the taxes because of this sale. So the fact that you're spreading taxes over more people doesn't hold any water, because it's still a tax. And why have a tax where you may not need it at all, especially if the city looks at the avenue of selling it to private industry?
So, Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
did you want to have a conversation? Did you want?
Oh,
Because
sure.
I know you'll go back there and you'll like, well, wait a minute here, Todd. So, a couple things here, and I just want to be clear, and I appreciate your comments, Darlene. You and I have had an extensive conversation about this here. Is it does not put us in any financial commitment. There is no there is no binding contract here with that. They would have to come back to us, and this is where Darlene and I kind of have a little bit of, disagreement kind of. The port is willing to come back with a full understanding, assessment. It will cost money to go find a contractor or to find, firms to give us design work, to give us options, and to look and say, hey, what do you want? What is feasible? What can we do with that building? So there is some seed money that's going to take there. The city, I don't feel comfortable spending that seed money. The port, which is for developing, Woodland in various areas, is willing to do that and to partner. And so
You could apply for a grant just like they are paying for it.
the
Yeah.
port
Point
has
of order.
the port has access to grants that the city cannot get to. But again,
I actually called, and there are grants available to the city and the capital budget fund for what you're asking.
so
The city can do that,
Okay.
not necessarily just the port.
okay.
And the thing about it is, if you're thinking about keeping this building and doing something with it for the city, that's one thing. I don't think that's what I think what's best for the city is to, we did, when we were looking at revitalizing Woodland, we looked at the possibility of a restaurant, including a brew pub. Because of the height of the building, it's perfect for that. There's issues with it, but that's something private industry should do. That isn't something that I feel the port should do or the city. And I don't think you've looked into the option of having private industry look at that building and see what it would, if they're interested in it, and what it would cost. To me, it's always better, rather than having the citizens pay taxes for something they may or may not use, to have private industry do it. And they usually
Don't
do
get
it
choked up
better.
on it.
I don't know why. You got any water? Anyway,
To the back
it's-
So,
it's
So, yeah, and on the conversation with, I think it's good dialogue for our community to hear this and to have a dialogue. So, again, I'm not picking on you, Darlene, and
Oh, you
things.
do it all the time.
So, one of the things that, and this is Todd's view, and I would open it up for discussion, is with private industry. So you sell that piece of property to private industry, and you would sell it for market. That's what the city government is to do. There's no way for the city, as long as it fits within zoning, they go and do what they would like to do. They tear the building down and turn it into a parking lot, and it sits there for a couple of years. I mean, under the port scenario here, they, are going to do some design work and look at it and come back to us. If we don't like it, sorry, the building sits just like it is now, and there's no cost to us, no financial commitment, but at least we get some.
You can put restrictions on the sales. That happens all the time. And if you end up having this design, I think it makes you kind of obligated morally, not legally, morally, to do something with the port. And I can't imagine the port is doing that without the idea of doing maybe something to improve the city. But that improvement to the city can be done by private industry and not on the backs of the taxpayers, which is what you're doing if it goes to the port to make it.
And you and I will always agree to disagree on this one.
Yep, 10-4.
Yep, but it's as long as we get along still, it's all good. So.
Yep, I agree.
So go ahead, JJ.
I was with the Downtown Revitalization Committee for quite a long time. And when we got rid of the building and we built the fire department and then got rid of the building, and we were going to save it to either knock it down and build a new administration building because we'd own the property, and sell that building or whatever. My looking is we're going to have to go spend probably $2, $3, $4 million to get another administration building, a new one. I think we should either knock that building down and then build when time comes. We can get the building the chamber wants. It's going to sit there for what? Not make any money. But that's not your fault. I won't blame you.
Yeah, let's not go into the chamber. So, let me open up the conversation and then I'll come back to here.
Okay.
I want to make sure that there was no one else in the audience that wanted to talk, or if there's somebody online. If there's Ms. Ray Keene.
Thank you, Todd. Jennifer Ray Keene with the Port of Woodland. I'll just address some of the rumors that were stated. First, this is not about the port buying the building. Let's address what this agreement is about. This is an interlocal agreement about the port and the city working together. One of the things that Todd and I discussed was one of the provisions the commission discussed at their last meeting was to ask for a city council member to sit on an advisory committee along with a commissioner regarding the design elements and to figure out the feasibility. What this is all about is revitalizing the start of this building to figure out a path forward. It's not about whether the port owns the building. If there's a better buyer, wonderful. If there's better options, great. If there's not, we are an option, but it doesn't lock it down. So please don't look into that. That is what this is all about. We are a developer, yes, but there is other options out there. We have also been approached by this same private company that has been discussed in this conversation already about us applying for the same types of grants to be the front person to obtain funding for them to be able to do the same type of revitalization that we would be doing ourselves. So here you have a private company wanting us to go get state tax dollars or we just do it in partnership with the city and have more control of what the industry is that is in the building. What we're trying to do is have more community control about what is going to be at this location. We want the people to have a say of what is going to happen there. If it is by private industry, there's no say. So we felt that this was a great way to have the community involved for the next steps of what this building could be towards its future life as a commercial industry or location. That is all it's about. It's about working together. I really, really, truly hope that everybody can look past whatever has happened in the past for the past couple of decades and look through the positive, that this is all about working together. This is not about raising taxes. This is not about us doing anything about that. This is really about creating economic development. So if you have questions about the rumors or whatever, I am here to answer whatever questions you have. I would rather that be addressed than rumor mills or making assumptions or questions. I know some of you have reached out to commissioners, and I greatly appreciate that. That's what we're all here for, is to improve the community. The city, the port, we all are here to work together to make this a wonderful community live in. So is there anything I can answer for any of you on the council? Anything at all? Anything about the intentions, what we're thinking? Anything about advisory committee?
I think it's a win-win. I mean, it's gives us options as a community to find out, hey, what is out there? And there's no cost to us.
Or what we want on what we're gonna look about the feasibility study. Ask now.
Oh, hey, hold on, Jennifer. Travis would like to speak.
Okay.
I would also like to point out that the city had this discussion in 2019. We went out for an RFP, a request for proposals, for the disposal of that building. And I myself took 3 different potential investors through tours of that building. 2 of them were for distilleries and wine bars that were looking at the structure, and both of them declined to actually submit an RFP because of the amount of work that needed to be done on the building. And we did receive 1 proposal under that RFP, and it was from Love's Playhouse, and we worked with them for several months, and in the end they did not believe that they would be able to fix the building to use it as a playhouse. So and then we have not essentially reapproached the project since 2019. So it has been 5 years of inactivity since this last discussion occurred.
Thank you.
Now, rather than
Just a second, let me find out. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak or online? Okay, so then we will now move it to council for this.
I motioned and he seconded.
So we have a motion to approve this, and I have a second. And so now let's have discussion. Okay? Sir.
Yeah, I would just like to say that I don't see why we wouldn't want to go down this road. It costs the city nothing. We're under no obligation. And while I hear that, hey, well, we've already started down the path, so we're kind of obligated, I don't see that we are, and that we would be presented options back. And that's, I think, part of the reason for exploring it, is to see what is feasible in that space. And by just saying no, we're still stuck with a building that serves and does cost taxpayers money today. So I just don't see the downside of getting the proposal, seeing what's all in there.
That's you, Melissa. You want to turn yours off?
No.
There you go.
Can we, in other words, if we get a proposal from somebody else, can we break away from this?
So
In other
we don't,
words, somebody else wants to build
so hold on a second.
something.
So we don't have, approval to consider it surplus, so we can't go out and find a realtor to do that. But if somebody came to us and said, hey, I would like to offer you, we would have to then go get, authorization from the council to approve, but we'd also have to get, appraisals and all of that.
Okay.
I think it's great that we're talking with the port and trying to make, because the port is very important to the city of Woodland, and the city of Woodland is very important to the port. So I'm glad to see a good working relationship there. But I just don't know about the other.
I think Douglas was next.
I have to agree with Mrs. Johnson. I've rarely, if ever, found government agencies doing each other's research or legwork have it in the best interest of both parties. Just by personal experience, that it rarely works out. I'd have real strong concerns about this, the idea in general. I've never seen it work out well.
I just want to say that I think in this last election, we really worked hard to say that we are a town that wants to come together and bring unity to our town. And I think in doing so, that means us working together with our schools. It means working together with our entire community. And that includes the port. And I know that there might have been some bad blood in the past. And the only way to get past that is to show good faith now. And if we continue to push aside, they have come and they have listened to us as they brought things forward, and we said, no, we don't like this plan you're bringing forward. We love our patch. Please don't take down the patch. Or, hey, that road is going to go through here. Please don't go through here. And they listen to us when we say we don't like this, and they scratch their plans and they go back to the drawing board, and we expect them to listen to us as a town when they bring things to us instead of just railroading us and coming through our town. Then we deserve them the chance to show good faith and us honor them and say, hey, come to the drawing board, work with us, and what could you bring to our town? Because they're bringing fiber optics and taking it through our town and going upriver and providing internet to places that can't get it. And if they're providing these grants and doing this for our community that don't have internet when we can't give it to them, and all of these other things, why aren't we allowing them to do that right here in our own town when they're providing it beyond our town and going beyond what their little area is at the waterfront and going through us to get beyond us? We've got to let them do what they can right here to serve us too. We've got to show good faith. If we want to work with our schools and have our police department provide an officer to our schools to provide protection, and we're willing to do that, we're using our government agency to work with another government agency there. We've got to do the same with our port. And you guys can't say, don't let this government agency work with this one, but not this one because, oh, they screwed us in the past. It doesn't work that way. We can't pick and choose when this is going to work. Like, we've got to show good faith all the time. And if you're going to say, well, there's always going to be bad blood at times, but we have got to get beyond that. And we've got to be willing to open our hearts and open our minds and say, you know what, I know this has happened in the past, but we have new people and new councilmen, or we have new mayors, or we have new port commissioners. Let's give them the opportunity to prove us right or to prove us wrong and say, they're people that live in our town too. They want what's good for this town because they want to be a part of it. They want to see our town grow. They're not gonna come serve our port and live in our town and say, I'm gonna screw myself over and raise my taxes. They live here too. So they're going to do what's good for themselves as well, and their grandkids and their children. So you got to remember that they do live here, and their kids go to our schools, and their families that they are seeing for generations that have lived here, they're part of this community. So they're not looking out for just themselves and what's good for the port. They're looking out for the community that they've been a part of for decades and for generations. So let's remember that when we think about this.
So hold on a second, Jason.
I just wanted to add one piece to what I said earlier. Just kind of thinking about, there's a lot of conversation about what the intentions of the port would be for this. And I guess kind of thinking back, the port and the city, whether anyone likes it or not, they're connected. They're two side-by-side pieces. It's in the port's best interest to have the city of Woodland prime, operating great, having a beautiful downtown to come to, and that could be a great motivation for rebuilding a building that, I don't know about anyone else, but it is a bit of an eyesore. You drive down, that's the first thing you see. Wouldn't you like to have a beautiful building there? And if the port is willing to partner, and the other piece to it is, we're not even saying that we're at that point. We're saying we're going to do an evaluation, and we're talking about, like, we just signed a sell agreement on a building. I mean, I feel like we're putting the cart before the horse a bit here and not even being open to conversation about it. And to me, that doesn't feel like partnering. That feels like stonewalling. I feel like giving them a chance. Let's see what has to be said. And yeah, I mean, there are maybe intentions to buy the building, but to improve the city of Woodland, which helps both the city and the port at the same time. So, just my stance on that.
The only thing is, if they spend the money to do this, and the city council decides that they don't want to sell the building to them, then that bothers me that they have put forth that money to do it. That's what bothers me. Because I can't see the port spending that kind of money for nothing. So, and I want to work with the port. I really do. I'd like to see the city have a good rapport with them, and the port have a good rapport with us. So,
I guess what I would say with them spending money, I don't look at it as, we're here not to decide how the port spends their money. You know what I mean? So anyway, go ahead.
And I'm not even sure that they're looking to necessarily buy as much as they're looking to partner with us, that they may be getting grants that they could work with the city, that we go in unison to do a project together to revitalize that corner. That it's not necessarily that they're coming in full force saying, hey, we're going to take on this whole project ourselves. Because, I mean, even in other towns, they're going in and working together to create something beautiful for the town.
Mayor Todd, may I address the grant question?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so one of the grants that we've looked at, this would allow us to bring in a grant to put in 20% of the port's money and be able to get 80% of the whole study, appraisal, feasibility, and concept at 80% covered. And please remember that a significant amount of this money of the port taxes are covered by, and we recognize by the port or the city taxpayers as well. So we share that investment.
Yep. Thank you.
One last comment on this. So we've talked about putting it up for somebody private to purchase it. Just a moment to remind that if we put it for buy the building, so I mean, we're not, but by saying we're only going to sell it private, that's not excluding the port from making an offer. And if they bring the best offer, you know, stewardship would be wanting to accept that best offer. So that doesn't block them from purchasing the building.
Yeah, I have a couple of thoughts, and I like the discussion. I feel like we're looking at this building. You know, a year ago, I looked at that building and I thought, kind of like what Monty Smith said, that could be a great city hall someday. But then we talked about that, and the more I've looked at it, the more I see it as it's a detriment to us. It is an eyesore, like Jason said. It's a problem that's costing taxpayers money, and it's going downhill, and it's just an ongoing liability. So there's reason to want to change it. I have I'm like Mr. Frymark, I have never seen two governments work together with overlapping jurisdiction without problems. And a case in point is our own situation here. It was only 3 years ago that the port sued the city because there were differences in financial issues. So what I'm saying is I don't want to go back and look at that issue. I just want to say that when you have two governments with overlapping jurisdictions, you got problems. It's not going to be an easy road. So that makes me uneasy. However, that said, this is not a good time to sell. Everybody knows the rates are high and, you know, the market's screwed up. So maybe we should take the time, get this information, go ahead and try this, work with the port, try it, take a look at it, see what we come up with for ideas. But absolutely, I really do not want us to consider that sale. I think somewhere down the road, we want to take a good hard look at a private developer, because I think when the market is right, the private sector, like Mrs. Johnson pointed out, will do this more spectacular. I mean, look at like McMenamins, for example. There's a great example of what could be done. That kind of a combination where you have a what do they call those, a brew pub in the basement, and then you have a nice restaurant overhead that sees the lake and all that kind of thing. I mean, there are things that the private sector will do that could make it a very beautiful thing and get it off the back completely of the taxpayers. So all of those things are up in the air. It's a good discussion. There's a lot going on, but I guess in the final analysis, I'm agreeing that since our hands aren't tied by this contract, I'm agreeing with you, Your Honor, in terms of let's look at it and see what comes up. But I think we need to look at it very cautiously. That's what I'm saying. Because I've just never seen governments work together without problems. They will have problems. So.
Any other discussion? Douglas?
Yeah, I will say cooperation is one thing. Working, you know, two entities working together for a common goal is extremely good. I applaud that. What I would not do is for one of them turn over to the other total responsibility of theirs or vice versa on it. You know, I wouldn't be so against this if we had an agreement from a board that excluded them from having any kind of interest downstream in the operation or control of that building. That might make a difference to me. But other than that, I think I'm dead set against it, just on principle. Never seen it work yet.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Possibly, but.
Question?
That means vote.
Yep. We have a motion and we have a second. Ms. Hogan.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark.
Nay.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy.
Aye.
Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
It's a tough decision.
You can say President.
Nay.
Okay, with that, the ayes have it. The motion is approved. So we will work on that piece there. I would just like to say thank you for the conversation, the dialogue. This is what I look forward to with the council and me and the people in the audience. Again,
Some good things.
conversation back here and forth. I mean, that's what it all is about. So thank you, everyone. Moving into action item O, authorize the mayor to speak to the Cowlitz County prosecutor.
Motion to go into executive session?
Second. With that, I have a first and a second. Any conversation on that? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Burke,
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston, Councilmember Friend.
Aye.
With that, it is 8:39, and we will go into executive session until 9 p.m., so we will go for 21 minutes.
Recording in progress.
It is now 9 o'clock. We're back into our regular session. Going back to action item O, authorize the mayor to speak to county prosecutor. With that, is there any conversation from anyone in the audience or online that would like to speak? Not hearing or seeing anyone. Any discussion on council?
We've already first and second.
No, we didn't. I do an executive session. Is what we did our first. We didn't make a motion for this.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
So we have a motion to approve this, and we have a second. Any discussion on this? With that, no discussion. Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Rounds?
Aye.
Councilmember Burke?
Aye.
Councilmember Dowdy?
No.
Councilmember Hall?
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark?
Aye.
Councilmember Houston?
Aye.
Councilmember Friend?
Aye.
With that, the ayes have it. That takes us into our workshop. It is now 9:02. Time for our workshop. Does Rotary want to come on up on Scott Hill Park?
Yes, but our story is a lot lighter than all the other stuff that's been going on.
Are you?
Well, first of all, I want to know, do you guys, have you all had your newsletters?
I do not.
Because this is a good thing.
She don't go to the post office.
Carol,
No,
did you give them all there?
I have to go to see if I get been served.
Your Honor, Your Honor,
Huh? What one?
Your Honor, am I on? Is that a thermostat on the wall back there?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Can it be adjusted? I mean, it's
Yeah.
about
It can
40
be.
below in here.
I'll bring it up to about 100. I'm freaking cold.
There's other papers too, if anybody wants any. These were sent out, first part of June. Everybody should have got one if they live in the city, or even the surrounding area, with the every door direct kind of thing. But I know at the post office, they were pretty stacked around, so I don't know. What's that?
When do we want to?
She carries them all with her all the time.
I guess we talk first.
Yeah, we talk first. Okay, so, sorry about this. I'm just,
Messenger.
I'm here, and you guys know who I am. I do want to say that I felt really energized today, and then I came here to all this seriousness, and so I got kind of melancholy, but it has been so exciting to go up to the park and see the green grass. It's all trimmed up, looking good. They've been fertilizing now, so we got it, and the water seems to be, I haven't had any issues. Carol knows. So anyway, it made me realize that I should invite you guys up to the park. If we can work out some kind of a time that you guys would like to come up and take a look, because you know I've had many different people up there to look at it, and everybody that goes up there just marvels. They just cannot believe. And when you look at what's coming and how it's going to be, and you start seeing it in the real life, it's just amazing. I've been really shocked at how excited people were and just dropped their mouths when they see it. It's just like, wow. And this is only phase one, you know, that's actually in a good shape here. But I don't know. Now I've listened to so much stuff that my ideas for the park talk is pretty much gone. But I do want to, I'm going to talk about a little bit of the history, and then Darlene is going to take care of the money, as always. So I just wanted to say that in 2010, we had a Rotary Board retreat at our house in the garage. And in that time, there was quite a few people on board, and they decided that we should do something big for the community. They had done a lot of fundraisers and, you know, overseas stuff, but they thought we should do this. And so they voted, and I got elected to be the one to go. I didn't elect, she just told me to go out and find out what's going on in the community, you know, who's doing what and what kind of a situation. And so, to make a long story short, Dr. Johnson had decided that he wanted to start a park. He had Donnie Sweat was instrumental in drawing up the plan. And so he had gone to the city council, and maybe it was the park board, one of them, and asked about doing this project. And they just told him we didn't need any parks. We already have one. You know, we got Horseshoe, and then we got the Little League. So he just went home, shut his plan in the closet, and went on his way. So when I found out about that, I heard when she wanted me to look at stuff. So I went to see Doc, and oh, he was so excited. He was just ecstatic. And of course, Margaret Heppola at Colf is another one. She was one of my clients. And when I was telling her about this stuff, and when I got that plan from Doc, she was so thrilled, because she did a lot of projects in our community in the area with, you know, libraries and museums and different things. And so she just really wanted to do things for kids. So between Margaret, they really got us energized. And then we started doing putting it all together. Sharon Lean was our president at the time, and she really was adamant about details and doing everything properly. So we did all these studies to see what it would be like. The city was finishing up this, well, all the subdivisions down on the bottom of the hill in Meriwether had been developed and working on. And in that time, every time there was a subdivision that, as a planning commission chair, I was signing, that meant that there was money going into the pot for parks, you know, your recreational stuff. And so anyway, the mayor decided to buy this land. He was told that the upper part of that subdivision that they'd been working on, taking the soil down below, was going to be for sale. It was coming up in the, you know, it was a foreclosure. So the mayor at the time bought the land and for parks, because that's what it was, what the money was coming for. And so then that just, we were going to the park meetings, and this was just all coming together. And so it ended up, that's what happened. And in the long term, we were trying really hard not to be a burden to the city. And in our first MOU, you can see that Grover said that it was because, you know, that they didn't have the money. We didn't need a burden on it. So we were taking over, Rotary, meaning we were taking over this situation. And so that's what we've done. We've started to work and plan, and she can talk about all the monies. Carol knows, she's been on it, you know, it's just been an ongoing thing. But the thing is, it's been a laid out plan, so that she'll talk more about a foundation for the park, so that the whole idea is so that it's not a burden to the city and its citizens. You're going to be able to use it, there'll be stuff to do, but at the same time, you're not going to be having to be liable for what's going on there. You're going to be able to enjoy it, and it's not going to be added to your revenues. It's free. You know, anyway, I got to stop because I'm talking too weird, but well, I get excited, and I shouldn't do that, but I just, it's really, you have to understand that this has been a 14-year project, and I have been living and breathing this for the whole time. And I felt good about it because as a child growing up in Woodland, I knew there was nothing to do. As we grew up, you either went to the Columbia River or up into the mountains, and it was party time. And there wasn't anything that young people were doing. And so it's just really nice to see and exciting that there's some possibilities for all of us, actually, not just the kids and not just sports. You know, this walking trail is it's a 1.3 mile walking trail, and you're going to be going all the way around. It's very nice. I mean, when you go up there to see it, they're part of that. It's already done, and it's just nice to go out there and walk around. I mean, it's just really, and there's a lot of people that would like to do that. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now because I'm not making any sense to you guys. I'm trying to talk too fast.
No,
but anyway, Darlene has been the starward point person for this project because as you know, we didn't have any money, and so we started doing fundraisers and all that kind of stuff. And now she's been working with grants and stuff, and I'll let her give you all the details about how we've come in that far. But I really would like to invite you guys to we can plan a day if you want to come up and take a look, afternoon or something, and just see it for yourself, because it's very cool. And it inspires you to see that this is going to be a really fantastic thing for the community, not just sports, because you'd be able to do all kinds of things. And I don't, yeah, okay, so for the first phase, we have the maintenance field. Oh, geez. Come on, Sandy. Okay, so it's a combination soccer, baseball field. So they call it a multi-use. And of course, you can do more than just soccer. You can do lacrosse and all the fields on that plan are large enough to do any of those sports. So it's not like, except for there's just two smaller softball in the last coordinate. But anyway, yes, we've got the parking lot's in, first parking lot's in. It's 52 spaces. It's striped, and the ADA spot is available, put in. It's my understanding that we still need to get a ADA sign put up, and the contractor's going to be back in a while, and he'll do that for us. The entrance is paved now. The sidewalks are set up. There's curbing, the gutters, all those kind of things to come in. And so it's just really, really starting to take shape, and it's exciting because you know that it's going to be really good, and you're going to love it. Anyway, okay.
So I know you were waiting on the parking lot for the ADA.
Mhm.
What are you waiting on now for it to be usable?
The roundabout for Darlene.
No roundabout. Actually, the sign, and then we got to make sure that when we have construction, we can't have people up there.
Yeah, we're going to have to
So-
intermittent
so it's gonna
situations.
be
So
intermittent, but we're within days, I would think, of getting that sign, and then they'll give us an occupancy permit.
well, and the other thing I think.
But we couldn't get an occupancy permit until we had that handicap.
And I think that probably most of our events will probably be fundraising events in the beginning, because we're not set up yet to do all that stuff, but she'll talk about that, as far as arranging for kids playing ball and that kind of stuff. We'll have to make it a special situation, for the time, because like you said, because of the construction. I'm going to sit down.
Actually, Asha made these presentations.
Talking to the microphone, Darlene, so people can hear.
It's in my way.
I know.
Asha is a Rotary member, and she made these presentations, and we'll have a video too on it. But what we've been doing is asking, first off, we had to do a plan and see whether it was economically feasible. And in that plan, we also had to determine if the state is going to put money in, are they going to get money back? And the amount, when we get tournament ready, it's like $3 to $5 million within Woodland because of the I mean, it's per year. And we've got one multi-purpose grass field, and we're gonna, the next phase, or the next things we're working on is what I call the soccer fields, but they're all multi-purpose, and there's 3 of them, and those will all be turf. And what we have done in, the city paid $550,000 for that property up there. So that's on, we've actually raised and spent $4,600,000. And we've got the 550 is from the cities purchasing the property, and with that we have an MOU, and when the MOU requires that property to be used at least 10 years from the date money from the state goes in for the purpose that we talked about, which is the park. We've gotten $3,768,500 from the state of Washington, and we've spent, and you know the funny thing about it, if you go up there, Sandy tells you how nice it looks, and it really looks nice, but when you look at it, how could you spend $4,600,000 on what you're looking at? Well, it's all underground. You have to process underground before you can do anything. So a lot of what, you know, there's irrigation, there's what you put on so that you can put on turf, what you can do to plant. It really does a cost, and because we are getting state money, we also have to pay prevailing wage, and prevailing wage costs more, but we didn't have any other way of getting it. Now, and the county, Cowlitz County, has already put in $350,000, and we've spent all that. But what is really impressive to me for a town our size, individual people have put in almost $600,000, and to me that's really a buy-in to the project, and and all those figures are on the chart over there. What we're looking at now is the Rotary has set up a foundation, because running the park, and the reason we're doing this now is because we have one field that we're hopefully able to use for Little League. Well, it's a multi-purpose field, so I'm not going to say what it can be used for, but it can be used for the sports that we're working on. And so once you do that, you have to have somebody that monitors, you know, who can come and how they use it and stuff like that. And so we've set up a foundation that right now it's all, because you needed a board of directors, we put people from Rotary. The Rotary board became the board of directors. But our goal is to have on that board, and this foundation would be a 501(c), and it would manage the park. And they, anyway, it'd be a 50, and the board of directors we envision is having citizen, people from Little League, people from the soccer, people from the city council, that all of these people would be on the board because they would actually know how to run it. We don't feel there will be any issue on getting tournaments because we have been bombarded with people who really want it and really indicate that it'll be, when we get it completely done, it'll be really unbelievably used. And right now, there's a lot of the leagues have to go out of town to even practice. And this is something that when we looked at doing this, the citizens of Woodland, parents could take their kids and teams could practice and do a bunch of things. And so we're close to opening one field, but we kind of want to get this foundation set up so that it can say, okay, you know, you can have it Monday and Tuesday or Thursday, so that you're not having multiple people trying to use the field all at once. We are anxiously awaiting, we've applied for a grant, which I'm just going to tell you the amount of it, not who we're asking for 11 million, and we're waiting to see whether we get that. If we get that, and that isn't a state grant, we will still be doing state grants every year. And our three legislators, Senator Braun, Peter Arbarno, and Ed Orcutt, have been the dream team on helping us get these grants to help with the construction. However, the only reason they can do that is because of the revenue this will generate for the state. And when you live in a state that gets most of their revenue from sales tax, that's why Seattle builds stadiums and pays huge amounts to do a stadium, is because they more than make it up in the sales tax when people stay there. And it's the same thing here, just on a smaller scale. We need to, with the city, we need to update the MOU. And I guess, is there any questions? It's a great asset for the kids, and I keep saying kids, but right now we got more people, older people up there walking the field, walking the trail, and it's actually, and we've got a covered area that people can have, picnics in. I mean, we actually had a Rotary meeting in the maintenance building, and it's just awesome. Everything is done top drawer. And we have an engineer that makes sure that we don't pay a bill until they tell us the guy's done the correct job. So, questions?
Yeah, I have. What's the status of the MOU? Where does that stand now?
Well, we have an MOU, but it needs to be revised, and I can't. What is it? Sandy's been looking at the MOU, but and the way it reads is we will kind of manage the part, but what is on the MOU?
Well, it's just that it's the agreement and the understanding of who does what, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's gotten a little fuzzy, so we need to get it straightened out.
And you're doing that, is that right?
Well, we have
an attorney.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the attorney works with the attorney for the city. So.
Yeah, they're not waiting on us for anything.
No.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no, we're not waiting on anything on it.
So phase 2, you plan on starting soon?
We're doing it right away, yes. Yeah, we will be putting in another, hopefully a grant application with the state. It's usually toward the end of the year in January when they make decisions on it. And, but if we get this big one, which is an estate one, we will do it. And we've just got the last payment on our last grant. Our last grant was $339,500, and we just got the okay that it's where you pay first and then you get reimbursed, and so we've built on that. And so that money will be coming, and you know, when we get money, we spend it. We don't have a place that we're holding on to it. We just
No, and trust me, Darlene knows, and she does, and she is remarkable, and she has put in so much time, and I have sat with her time and time again doing the grants, and I sit there and watch her, all that she goes through, and then she has me look
And
at this and see if
I
it's
moan
okay.
and groan a lot too.
But I mean, with who she knows, how she's been, and her character and her relationships with people, it's just been phenomenal, and it's really been helpful, and it's amazing to watch. I'm really proud of her.
I was at that Rotary meeting you had up there, and I gotta say, it's a pretty small Rotary club to do such a huge project, and it's pretty awesome.
It really is, and when we first started it, people were very critical of.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, there's a lot of projects going on in the same
Yeah,
community.
there's,
at
yeah,
the
you
same
know,
time.
the library, the swimming pool, I mean, there were so many things going on, and right in the middle of it, we started this, and it really took hold, and we've been doing really well with it. We really need to thank the taxpayers of the state of Washington, because, you know, I haven't found a money tree yet, so anything comes from the people. And it's nice that we're bringing some of that money that we pay to the state back to Woodland.
So I don't know if you have any more questions. Straight. Do you want to do that video?
Yeah, they
it's
should.
just a short video
It's
that gives you a look.
You got a question back there?
Oh,
Yes.
yes,
And Darlene, anybody can join the Rotary?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's a plug.
Yeah, we would like more people.
You said about getting all these requests for tournaments, as a family that has participated in sports, tournaments usually last like a whole weekend or week or whatever. And you say about the amount of money that it will bring into the state of Washington. My question is, the city of Woodland, what are we gonna see benefit for our city, because we don't have hotels, we don't have sit-down restaurants. If you expect everyone to go to McDonald's and wait 4 hours in line for a hamburger, how is this gonna benefit our city?
Well, first off, we do have some motels, and we have, you know, we've got the oak tree, we've got roses, so we do have, and the calculation for the city of Woodland was actually, and people, they buy at the hardware store. I mean, there's just numerous things. They buy fuel. But the amount of money that was for the city of Woodland was almost $2 million a year. And it was 4 to 5 million.
You mentioned these couple little restaurants. They don't have the capacity to host very large groups. We have very few hotel rooms. And what I was told by a Rotary member when I questioned this before was that, oh, well, they can go stay at the casino. That's not benefiting.
No,
the
that
city.
isn't.
So,
No.
and going to other cities to give them money doesn't benefit our city.
One thing I can tell you is that there's a gentleman in town that is the promoter, and he came and he looked at the stuff down at the office, and the first thing he said is, you need to have a large hotel with a swimming pool, and that will keep the people in your community then spending your money. Otherwise, if you go down the road, they're gonna spend all their money down there. But we've kind of talked around about some stuff, but, you know, nobody's really interested in trying to do that, I guess, so.
Well,
But
Yeah.
that takes the money to the outer line.
to the outer
oh,
line
yeah.
is,
Not to our city. So
Yeah.
I don't really feel like it's a great benefit. And Scott Hill Park Road, I've been up it. How do you expect to get all that traffic up and down that one road?
Well, we had a traffic study done,
and it works.
and they said that, you know, after rush hour, not a problem.
That road is barely enough for two cars to
no,
pass each other.
You
Are
haven't,
they-
have you been up there with the big trucks?
Are they gonna have a road on the backside?
Yeah, there's a road that goes down,
Down into the Meriwether.
Meriwether
subdivision.
too.
States, and we don't
Yeah.
want that in our community. We're gonna host leagues up there and tournaments, and then people will be drinking, and they're gonna come right through our neighborhood where we already have too many speeders. We have children that try to ride their bikes and play. We don't want that traffic in our
So,
neighborhood.
let me explain, were you at some of the meetings we've had
I've been
before?
at a lot.
It's gonna be hours of operation, it's not gonna be open 24/7.
Okay, so hours of operation, when do your kids ride their bikes? During the day. And they're gonna be riding the bikes in our neighborhood and having all this traffic because
You
that's
don't
hours
already,
of-
you don't already have kids riding their bikes?
Yeah, we do have a lot of kids, that's what I'm saying, and to throw all the rest of that traffic in there, we don't need that.
Okay.
Well, it's for your benefit, because that's what the mayor said it when he bought the property, that this way, that's why he did it, was because subdivisions down there provided the money to buy the land. And that was the whole concept, was this way, the people in Meriwether are gonna have a park to go to, because we don't have one on this side of Woodland.
And what it really helps is the kids that are in some of these leagues that are here in Woodland, they'll have a place where they can actually go without having to travel to Vancouver,
Okay, but we
Lausanne.
have the ball field right over here, off by Belmar, instead of putting the field down there where it's more accessible from the freeway, you decide to put it up the hill with one road and then put the rest into our
I'm sorry,
neighborhood.
that was the mayor's decision at the time, and that's why he bought the property. And so
I
that
think
we're
they
just
should have a
following
meeting
Okay.
together.
So, hey, great conversation. I appreciate it. Any other comments or questions from individuals here?
Yeah, and,
Thank you for the presentation.
yeah, and if you guys wanna know, you're always invited to come to, you know, our Rotary meetings, which are Monday at noon at the Oak Tree. And we'll discuss.
Yeah, and if you're interested in doing a meeting up there at the Park Bluff, just pop in and take a look, so be more than glad to host you. Same with
Yeah.
you guys, and if you wanna just do a fast, you got about just 5 minutes worth of, to show you the progress that we've made through the years.
Yeah, ready. This is, you're seeing kind of the work that has been done.
It's amazing how much dirt that they moved just to make that field. See all those houses down below.
I always wanted a Tonka toy.
We do have music. It's amazing what it took to get it where it's at. You see that, on the left side is the road going down to Meriwether.
That's done.
And the city water tower. That's the walking trail, 3 foot wide. These are all pipes that went in the ground.
That's what I say, all the cost is underground.
Those concrete blocks were, from
That's nice.
The good thing about the way that the engineer did this is every phase has parking lots and restrooms.
Hey Darlene, are you gonna put a sand volleyball court up there?
I don't know.
Need to add
That
it
would
in.
be nice, yeah.
Need to add it in.
That's a good, there's a kids play there's areas that we could do that.
Yeah, we need to add a sand volleyball court up there. There's a lot of volleyball players in town.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
The youth shelter, which is gonna be in the third phase, is gonna have all kinds of things to be able to do. That's the maintenance building.
The only place they can go is Canva right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's not anywhere that they
No.
could go to play.
There's a pen. I wanna write that down. Can I use your pen?
And she's one of our volleyball coaches at our middle school.
At the far end of the, soccer field. And again, it's not just soccer, it can be,
Sand court, right?
Yeah, sand volleyball court.
football.
Yeah, beach volleyball.
All the fields are built for that size, so that there's no question, except for 2 softball fields that are for little kids. This is the shelter there that they put. The thing with having your, field and grass, you could go ahead and have like a, concert, like a, festival seating kind of thing, which wouldn't hurt the grass as long as you're not poking holes in it. And then the other stuff, you know, the artificial turf, of course, you can't do that, so you're more into the, some of our guys that mow the grass, and it's a monthly deal, and they come on a weekly basis and mow the grass. That just shows you the surrounding area. And you just don't even think about it when you go there. There's no way you'd know that if you didn't see it. That's the walking trail. Oh, that's nice. This big walking trail.
It looks better
You can
than
see
that
out
now.
farther is the shelter, and then you have the maintenance building. This was donated by the Port of Woodland, cut that up. And that's the softball area. See all those houses out there, that's. This takes you into the, that's, soccer fields, that phase right ahead of you. And then this will be parking lot where these little trees are now, and
That's all striped and everything and.
Have you been up there?
Excellent. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Darlene.
They're welcome.
Appreciate it. And with that, it is 9:40 and we go back into our regularly scheduled.
Motion to end meeting.
Second.
It is 9:41. Thank you.
Recording stopped.